So it's hard to know when because you got to build it down.
Right. No, that's
The time is 4:30 p.m. Pelican Rapids City Council meeting of 11 June 2024 is called to order. I ask those in our council chambers, if you have not signed in yet on the clipboard by the back door, if you'd please do so before you leave. I ask everyone to please put their phones on vibrate. Roll call of members. Danielle?
Councilmember Steve Strand.
Aye.
Councilmember Kevin Ballard.
Here.
Councilmember Kurt Markgraf.
Here.
Councilmember Steve Foster.
Here.
And Mayor Brent Frazier.
Here. I want to welcome each and every one of you here in our council chambers this evening, also those joining us by Zoom. I remember our city council meetings are on the Pelican Rapids YouTube channel and also on channel 14 on Wednesday evenings. I just have a couple announcements for the next couple of weeks. This Saturday, June 15th, is a Friendship Festival in Sharon Park. I believe it begins at 11 a.m. And then our next city council meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, June 25th at 4:30 p.m. Any other announcements? Any other announcements? Hearing none, if we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item number 2 is citizens' comments. I'm not sure if we're going to have one citizen comment. I put Coach Doug Bergerman on the hot seat here. I want the coach to come, if he would please come forward and give a report on the Shada shootout that was held this past weekend.
All right, like he said, we just completed our 3-on-3 tournament. Had around 265 to 267 teams coming in. That's over 1,000 players. Just on Friday alone, we probably played around 380 games of basketball. And then we rolled into Saturday and Sunday. A ton of people in the community. One of our kind of like mission, in our mission statement, we want to promote the game of basketball, raise money for our basketball programs here in Pelican Rapids, and also be an economic boost for our community. And I'm hoping that some of the people were able to find their way to the businesses through the construction this year. One other big thing probably was I was very glad when the construction wasn't as far as so that they could use that road south of the school. But otherwise, things went extremely well as always, and that was our 31st year of hosting the tournament. So.
Okay, well, applaud you and your host of volunteers that put this on, because it is an economic boost to our city during that weekend.
No, it's been a great thing to do, and
yeah,
we hope to continue it.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for citizens' comments? Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, we'll go on to item number 3, additions, deletions to the agenda. Any additions or deletions? Any additions or deletions?
I'll move the agenda as printed.
A second.
Motion second, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Item 4 is approval of consent agenda, which I'll read. Item number 4A is approval of council minutes from May 28th, 2024. 4B is approval of accounts payable listing. 4C1 staff report, the police chief report, which is in our packet. 4D is on sale intoxicating liquor license and Sunday on sale to Adrian Chavez of Properties for Chavez LLC. Item 4E is certify unpaid utility bills to property taxes, parcel number 7600099045 5150001, the amount of $222.61. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion second, discussion? 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 Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, motion carried. Item number 5 is Park Region Co-op Back Road Access Improvements and Cost. Last city council meeting, we had Mr. Everett Ballard and Tom Marty here, and I believe they're both here. Are they both here, or just Everett here this evening? And I know Lance was also going to do some checking on the ownership of that property. And Lance, do you want to start the discussion on that, please?
Sure. So I consulted the city attorney, Forsgren, and we looked into this bit, and it does look like there is still it's the Otter Tail GIS has it as road right away. So we do still have utilities through here. So we kind of came up with the solution that basically about a third of what the road that they're using right now is basically city responsibility. This first third off of Great Northern here. So we came up with, I know Park Region came up with that number of $4,500 so far that they've had to put into it with their gravel and crushed asphalt and things like that. So I'm suggesting that we take care of a third of that, which is $1,500, and then moving forward, the city can put it on our list of things to keep maintained here, at least that third section of that access, if that sounds acceptable to Park Region.
You agreeable with that, Everett?
Yep.
Park Region is? Okay. Any discussion from the council?
I move to approve payment, 1,500.
I'll second.
Motion second, discussion?
Just comes out of the street budget? Yeah?
Discussion?
You still putting crushed asphalt or ground asphalt in?
Now,
Yeah.
right now, we've just been kind of maintaining, leveling what's there in that middle section for the primarily is where it was really bad.
Did Landwehr help you out?
The what?
Landwehr? That's
Contract?
what I
They
heard.
did one day last week, they were in there.
I mean, we haven't heard anything from them.
They had their skids too down there one day last week and smoothed it out.
So they're probably doing some grading themselves too.
Any more discussion?
I would suggest you use rock.
Rock?
Rock. Aggies has got 1.5 rock. And you put that in the low spots, it'll stay there. Where you put crushed concrete or asphalt in there, it just gets pounded to pieces and disappears. The rock will stay there.
Right. The only issue with that whole idea is once this project gets open, the property that we're actually putting most of this improvements on, we don't own. It all is owned by the Barlow family there. So I foresee once this project is done and open, we won't be dealing with that much more.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Thank you, Everett. Item number 6 is downtown trees and conduit, and there was a document in our packet this evening, and we're looking at 2 different motions here. We're going to talk about the downtown trees first. Last city council meeting, motion failed to adopt the beautification committee's recommendation, so it was agreed to revisit this topic at this city council meeting this evening, and there was a online poll was conducted as to would the public like to see trees downtown. And Lance, do you want to begin the discussion on that, please?
Not really.
What's plan B?
All right, so there was an online survey and a paper survey. It was the same thing, just kind of generally speaking, do you want trees downtown or not? Jordan set that up, which is nice. It was able to get a lot of responses. There was 239 responses. So you can see about 188 were yes, 18 no, and then 4 were maybes. I guess I'll just kind of keep open it up to others and to discuss. I don't know much more what you wanna know, I guess, so. I know Tom Pace is here if he wants, he has anything to say right off the bat.
Tom, did you have anything to say to begin with, or regarding this topic?
Yeah, I guess the survey kind of matches what we talked about a couple years ago. We did our beautifications committee. We met last year. We had a public meetings. We met here 3 or 4 times. We had in the plans, actually, we have that there's a strong push for trees. So that's why we have them in the project. There was a lot more trees at one time. There was probably 25 in the downtown corridor. Now we're down to 12. So they've been reduced based, on other utility impacts and fire hydrants, everything else down there. The trees were the last thing to put in the plan. Like say they came last. They come after street lights, after street signs, after fire hydrants. Where there was room, we tried to put a tree in. And the trees, they're kind of in like a package deal. They're also next to benches, bike racks, and garbage cans. So there's little clusters of things that we put in the plan. So, stuff you can see that in the screen there. So yeah, the green dots are where the tree locations will be. And that's what it is in the plan currently. So.
Council have any questions for Tom?
Tom, some trees are bigger than others, is that right?
Some trees are bigger than others.
How does that get decided?
Location. The trees that are downtown, you're talking about the height. The trees downtown, we have 3 different types that we're recommending for the downtown corridor. There's slow-growing, narrow top trees. In the packet also, do you have that? Is that in the packet as well, Lance?
That part isn't, I got it I'll get it on the screen here.
And the 3 different types for the downtown piece. And so, yeah, they're in the rural sections, they're bigger, broader leaf trees, so more great bigger ones. The downtown piece, you try to select trees that would be more salt resistant for a more urban setting that are not as big canopy, don't get as tall. So you can see there, I can't see here, yeah, this one here has got a height of 35 feet. That's what shows colors to kind of match the downtown corridor. So in the fall, there are oranges, reds, and kind of golden colors to match the downtown building faces. That one there is only 15 feet tall, and it's 8 feet spread at the top. When they're fully mature. The next one, Lance. That one there is a 25-foot tall tree was fully mature with a 15-foot spread. This is stuff, our committee chose these trees as well. It's not just MnDOT, it's a beautification committee that had a lot to say in the colors and types they wanted. We had a lot of discussion on tree types. Probably most of our meetings were all about trees and the kind we wanted downtown. So the kind you wanted downtown, not MnDOT, but the city of Pelican. So
When I was looking more at these trees and things, I saw different heights. Like this was 25, and when I looked this one up, it said 15, but it also said, it's very easy to sculpt them so you can keep them, like if we wanted to keep them at 15 feet, you could keep them at 15 feet, could you not?
Yeah.
Or
You can just trim them, trim the branches, the tops and sides, and keep them tall as you want to, right?
Can I add something?
Absolutely. Well, not me, you, sorry.
Hi, I'm Justin Fury, and I'm part of the beautification committee. And I just want to make a comment about the flowering tree. We wanted to make sure not to have any flowering or, trees with vegetation that falls on cars and whatnot, or on the sidewalk to make a huge mess. So the flowering ones are for outside the city, like the downtown area. So the flowering kind of by like the elementary school and high school and the areas where it can actually grow, where you don't have to trim it down and stuff. I mean, we can if you guys want, but so the flowers aren't falling on cars or on people's property and stuff. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing to add is the trees are mostly on Trunk Highway 59. Good comment. From the school up to the turkey plant, where mostly trees will be placed. Probably the fall of 25 or spring of 2026. They won't go until 59 is all completely done. So probably next fall or the following springs we'll plant these trees in a separate contract. The trees are not in this contract. It'll be a separate one that we'll do after the big job is done. So. And that time the trees are all paid for by MnDOT. No city cost to install the trees, but the city will have to maintain them. That's kind of the caveat. It'll be on MnDOT right away, but it's something that we maintained by the city. When they're put in the ground here in fall 25, or probably more likely the spring of 2026.
Any questions for Tom? No, thank you, Tom. I know we've had, some of the people are, okay.
First of all, I apologize. I just had dental work done, so if I talk a little funny. I'm Patrick Patterson. I'm a taxpayer here in the city of Pelican. I'm also a paramedic. The trees, maybe on the outside of the downtown area, you know, they look pretty great. But something that probably you didn't think of is trees grow. Their roots grow. These trees, I'm assuming they're going to be under the sidewalk, like in the ground under the sidewalk. All right, so I've been on numerous ambulance calls down in Fergus Falls where their trees grew, broke up the sidewalk, and you got a person that falls and smashes their face. I think that should be considered when you're looking at trees in the downtown area. Now, if you got beautiful pots with some bushes in there, hey, that looks beautiful. I think you got to keep an idea for obstruction, visual obstruction, people pulling in and out of those stores. But my biggest concern is when these trees grow and they break up the roots break up the sidewalks and people are falling. Is the city going to get a lawsuit?
I thought we addressed that caveat a long time ago, that these were trees with tap roots. That the roots would not branch out underneath.
Normally the tree roots match the tree top.
Yeah, so a 25-foot tree is going to get some good roots to it, right? It's going to bust up that sidewalk,
If
yeah.
they're trimmed narrower, they'll stay narrower. That's
Okay.
kind of what the rule is.
I don't know, is it a concern that taxpayers are going to pay for now and then have to pay for it again later when there's an issue? I mean, I myself, I pay significant taxes. I'm concerned about the taxpayer dollar. And so I just think it's something that should be considered. So,
Okay, thank you.
sure.
In Fergus, are you talking, is it the cement that separates or the grate?
Yeah, no, well, now they've got different trees. I'm surprised they actually went with what they did. They got different trees in there now with grates. But the cement itself, it buckles the sidewalk. I can tell you, this 85-year-old gal, I felt so bad for her because she was busted. She was busted up pretty good. And her first thought was, I'm not going to sue the city. I'm like, boy, I wonder if everybody has that thought, you know? And so it's just something to consider.
I think they have pavers downtown Fergus. They don't have some cement
Yeah,
sidewalks.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm not sure exactly what
Yeah, they
they've
have
got, but no
pavers.
matter what you've got there, it's going to bust it up. Those roots grow. You can't stop those roots from growing, you know. And then is it going to affect some of these downtown buildings? Is it going to grow into their foundations where they got a problem? Then the city says, hey, your problem, not mine. You know, who takes care of all the leaf cleanup too? Of these trees that leaves fall off and stuff like that? You know, who takes care of that? Now on the outskirts of town, you know, yeah, it looks beautiful, and that's great. But now right downtown, my opinion, bad idea.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Anybody from the beautification committee want to address that? Because I thought the root system was like a tap root. They didn't move out.
They all trees branch out. There's no such thing as a tree with one root that grows down.
Yeah, so we had what was that person called? The architect?
Landscape architect.
Landscaping architect that knows all about this stuff. And, you know, they emulated what Tom Pace just said, that, you know, the roots kind of emulate the top. And so I think downtown Fergus, they have a lot of large trees, especially in the residential areas where the sidewalks could be. But yeah, so we're just going off of that, you know, they're different types of trees. They're not downtown trees in Fergus. There's a lot of wide trees, residential areas, and that's not the trees that we picked out for this area.
Okay. Anyone else like to address the city council?
I'd love to. Amy King, I'm here representing our park board, and we have worked together to work on the beautification of our city for many, many years. I've been a part of the park board for 6 years, and most people on the board have been there longer than I have. And one of our goals has always been to bring more people to our outdoor spaces. right? To our parks, to our downtown, to kind of every part of Pelican Rapids. We have a beautiful, beautiful city, and right now we are looking at an amazing facelift. Whether you agree with all the details of it or not, it's a wonderful opportunity for us to improve the look of our entire city. That includes downtown. And why wouldn't you want to take the time and the opportunity to put things that people clearly want into that space? You know, I think the biggest piece is the place between the roundabouts that people are talking about, where the most controversy comes with trees. And I do understand that, but you did a public survey and you had 188 people say yes. I don't know of a city survey that you've gotten over 200 responses in the last 6-8 years, and you're looking at only 18 people in your community that said no. The numbers speak for themselves. I'm also here just to represent the park board. As a board, we have talked, and we 100% unanimously support the putting trees throughout the downtown corridor, throughout everywhere. I was reading a little bit, just different articles on the internet. There was actually a study done by the University of Washington, said people spend more money when there is more of an outdoor experience where they're shopping. And the article, the study suggested 9 to 12% increase when you have trees, foliage, other outdoor experiences for them to be a part of where they're shopping. Now, I can't verify the details on that, but it's just so interesting that we're talking about our area where people are spending money and taking those things that our community clearly says they want potentially out of that area. So as far as park board goes, we are 100% please put them in our downtown. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Anyone else?
Good evening, my name is Matt Strand, and I am the largest property owner in this stretch that we're discussing. First, I want to address the survey. So in my previous life, I worked at the Air Force Research Laboratory, and we would do lots of research studies. And we would work hard to make sure they are credible and well conducted. So just a couple questions. Why was the survey opened up to the entire universe rather than just Pelican Rapids or just Pelican property owners, Pelican taxpayers? Why was it open to the farthest reaches of the internet?
Because there's a lot of people outside of city limits that have interest and are vested in this community, and we want to hear your customers aren't just from the city limits.
Sure. Okay. And then why did the city release it alongside materials from a self-proclaimed National Street Tree Sponsorship Scheme?
Say what?
It was released alongside information published from a National Street Tree Sponsorship Scheme called treesforstreets.org. So if the city's trying to find an independent answer to a survey, why is it releasing it alongside materials from a pro-tree organization?
I have no idea what that is all about.
So
we just tried to put information out there so we could get information back from.
Sure. So in study design, we call that response bias, right? You're trying to bias a response. And it was my understanding that the council was trying to find more of a neutral response. Why is the city putting resources into leading the response?
Well, if it did happen, there was no bias that we were trying to get. All we wanted to get was information from people.
Sure. Okay. Just in my opinion, I think you have a lot of response bias going on with your study versus actually talking to the key stakeholders downtown. And that was one of the things the beautification committee failed to do. They did not coordinate with the key stakeholders downtown. Furthermore, the whole study or survey was released based on false information. Planters are allowed by MnDOT. The whole premise was we won't have anything downtown unless we do trees, and that's not, in fact, true. Planters are permitted. So why haven't planters been part of the discussion? Tom, can you confirm planters are permitted?
Yes, I can.
So why was that not part of the discussion? So from my concerns as a property owner, planters alleviate everything. They don't block my signs, they're moved for winter, I don't have maintenance involved with them. But trees do all of this. They block my storefront, they block my signage. I have winter maintenance issues, I have summer maintenance issues. Why were planters not discussed? It's what's worked downtown for years.
I was under the understanding that we could not use the planters anymore. They had to, anything in MnDOT right away had to be fastened down. That's what I remember, so.
They can be allowed in the manning zone, as long as they're removed in the winter time, so.
Oh, what else do I have? So My recommendation for the city, first, do no harm. If the business doesn't want trees, don't force trees on them. If we as a business owner think it's going to negatively impact our business, it's our monetary risk to say, I don't want that. And we're making what we believe is the best call for our businesses. There's viable alternatives out there that were not investigated by the committee. And they're aesthetically pleasing. They look nice. Planters are beautiful. Flowers are beautiful. And I'll close, I'm not anti-tree. My son and I planted 3 trees in our yard last month, but we put them in smart places that make sense. And downtown business district is not a correct place for trees. Let's do something else. Or if certain businesses want them, let them have them. But for my business and my properties, and I'm the largest property owner, I don't want them. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good afternoon, I'm Kathleen Hoover, and I'm the second largest property owner in the downtown district that will be affected by these trees. First and foremost, I just want to address the fact that I used to have a business in Fargo that was in a strip mall. The city of Fargo came along and put in trees along the boulevard. The first year, you could see all the businesses in the strip mall. By the second year, you had to look between the trees to see the businesses in the strip mall. And by the third year, you couldn't see the strip mall. So I have a personal experience of trees or no trees. Secondly, I visited with Karen Lauer, who I don't know if her input or their city's input was even taken into consideration. They're our neighbor. They're in Barnesville. She is the EDC person in Barnesville and has had that role for over 30 years. 1999, downtown Barnesville put in trees. According to their diagram and their notes from the diagram and the notes from those meetings, they put in 20 trees downtown. 2004, they had to put 20 more trees in downtown. So between that time frame, those trees died, they put in new trees. And now when you drive downtown Barnesville, there are 3, maybe 4 viable, attractive-looking trees. The rest of them are empty grates, dead stalks, handful of leaves, and mostly dead stems. So what Barnesville is doing now is they're back to the drawing board on figuring out what they want to do. And what they're trying to do now is put planters in and an occasional bush. And what I see here is that we jumped to a conclusion that we had to have trees downtown. I don't hate trees. Nobody hates trees. But I don't think it's the right spot to have them downtown. We've already got a very busy little section there. The bike path went away. It's now on the sidewalk. You got cars, you got semis, you got roundabouts. And in my opinion, putting more trees down there is just an epic fail. The secondary part of that is that you have signage issues for the businesses that are downtown now. The people that have businesses downtown are key property owners. They've put their life, their soul, their money, their investments in making whatever they're doing viable, reasonable, and profitable. Statistics say that small town businesses have the hardest time to survive. By putting this up, do I hate trees? No. Putting trees in front of your signage, potentially the signage, you missed the boat. You didn't ask the property owners. You didn't ask the business owners. Help me understand why.
I believe we did ask the shoppers that frequent the businesses.
But are the shoppers the one that are going to maintain the tree?
But if it's inviting to them, they'll shop at the outlet.
I don't decide where I'm shopping if there's a tree or not trees. So, you know, and I can find just as many surveys that say trees are a huge problem in a downtown crowded area.
Getting back to Barnesville, I believe those grates were 4 foot by 4 foot. Am I correct, Tom?
Probably your old school grade.
And these are 5 foot by 11, so the tree has a much more chance of living because of the more exposure. It isn't covered by cement.
All right, well, let's go back to what Mr. Strand asked, then why weren't planters considered in the downtown area? The other thing that Karen said is that their downtown right now is the root system of the trees that were so wisely chosen for their location are breaking up the sidewalk. The roots are coming up through the sidewalk. So then our taxpayers then get to go back in and either repair the sidewalks, replace them, and who do you assess when you do that? Who do you assess? You assess the property owner. So again, I'm going to say, please reconsider putting trees in the downtown area. Put them in other places. I mean, we're not opposed to trees. We're opposed to squishing them in front of our buildings. And on the Facebook survey, personally, I think it was just nuts. I mean, you had people that lived in Tennessee and Ohio and Georgia that were all voting on whether downtown Pelican should have trees. They don't even have a dog in the race.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Yeah, please step forward.
I got a couple buildings downtown too.
Could you say who you are?
Roger Schlesky. I got a couple buildings downtown too. I got the Viking Apartments and I got the Pottery Store. Well, the Viking Apartments, there's a post out. There's a street sign. That one sits right out in front of the building. And then when they sweep the sidewalks, well, actually, that's the best thing they ever did was when they used the Bobcat because they're always nice and clean. You get down there in the morning and they're swept off. Otherwise, if everybody's going to do it, how are we going to clean sidewalks when we got trees in front? I got one sign in front of my Viking Apartments, and they ran the Bobcat through there. They took the front of the building out. It's all cut up, the whole side of the building, the front of it, because they can't get through. I don't think there should be anything on the sidewalks so you can sweep them. That was the best thing they were doing, is cleaning these sidewalks. And everybody really appreciates that. I mean, it's so nice. In the morning, you guys come down there and clean them all off. It's just, you can't beat it. Otherwise, they don't get done till noon. I shop in the morning. If I got to go get parts down Ace Hardware or wherever, you can walk on the streets. And if you don't clean them, they never get cleaned. Unless somebody, I know, I've shoveled. I had apartments over there by the gas station across from Park Region. I shoveled that off for 15 years till I got smart enough to use a pickup with a snowplow and you could push it off. Because you can't even push this snow in the wintertime.
Okay, let's keep to the tree topic.
Well, that is a tree. That's what I'm saying. If you put trees there, you can't get at it. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about winter. Trees are nice, beautiful. I love them out in Maplewood State Park. But in town where you got to clean the sidewalks, the trees are going to be in the way.
Okay.
That's my number one. If we can't clean the sidewalks, who's going to clean around these trees?
The city's responsible for it.
Who?
The city is responsible for it.
Right, and that's one hell of a job. My son works in Fergus Falls, and he said down there they're having a nightmare with them.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Roger.
You bet.
Anyone else?
Lance, could you put the whole street diagram that you had?
Like all the way from the fire hall up to Escobar's?
Yeah.
Yep.
Larry Gray, I own the Riverside building. One question I have is awnings. I know there's a lot of buildings in town that have awnings, and I wonder about the tree situation with those, because I don't know if you've driven through Fergus Falls lately, which I have, because he had the parade down there. Number one, I love trees. I got many trees on some of my properties. The thing is, I don't think it looks that great down in Fergus Falls because there's one of the locations that the tree has come up quite well, but it's kissing the awnings of these buildings. Then some of the trees aren't even growing. You know, there's no balance, I guess. Then also too, you say they should be skinny. They're going to be a skinny, slender tree. Well, many of the people online said they want foliage so they can be sitting under shade. Well, how does a skinny tree help you? You know, because evidently you're trying to do this for the root system. So that's another thought I have. But I guess I just sort of look at the planters. I mean, I think you said through the survey here too, the property owner should have gotten contacted the last council meeting. I mean, I've never been contacted in regards to my feelings about this. So, I mean, I'm for planters. But again, I really do love trees.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Doug Bruggeman, I'm just talking on this kind of like the voice of Peteyville, which we started, and I don't have, people are bringing up great points. I don't have anything as far as pro or con, except for if trees are planted in that area, that would be a cool segue into what will hopefully be a ever-growing Peteyville, an attraction to bring people to Pelican Rapids. So I just wanted to voice support as far as our project in the winter, that trees would be a good thing for us.
And saying that you would, if there were trees down there, you would light them up during that season?
That would be what we would love to do.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else?
Grant, a couple things. Just a couple clarification. The trees be planted in between the sidewalk and the curb. They're not planted in the sidewalk. They're about 15 feet from the building, so they shouldn't affect any awnings. What that question was. Yeah. So it should be far enough away so the awning should not be impacted. And this 5 by 10 grates we put in there. We also use special tree soil, which is better, enhances growth. It's not just junk we throw in. It's a special soil made for tree growth. So stuff we put in there. Another thing, the MnDOT pays for all this. MnDOT's going to pay for the grates as well as the trees. If you go back to take trees away, then the city would be responsible for paying for the concrete replacement. So small cost, but just things to be aware of. So.
Is there anybody on Zoom that would like to speak?
Next.
Hi, Lana Grefstrud. I'm on here on behalf of Find Your Path and also Hillbilly Laser. I know I don't have a downtown business, so whether I have skin in the game as far as that's concerned, I do think we have this beautiful river running through town. And the roundabouts are going to be good. It's going to look all new and fancy down there. It's going to be a concrete jungle if we don't do something to dress up that space. I don't know. I just feel like if we don't do it in 5 years, we can't do it then. So I feel like if you want to come back, do it now in 5 years. If it's a fail, be like, well, we learned our lesson. It is what it is. But if you don't do it now, when are you going to have the opportunity to try? This is my 2 cents on that. I think it'd make the downtown beautiful. I don't know. When you're voting tonight, just because you voted one way last week doesn't mean you have to do the same thing tonight. So, thanks.
Thank you, Lana.
Can I ask Tom? You said that MnDOT's paying for the trees downtown
Yes.
forever?
To install them, yes.
So like if they die, you'll replace them?
For 2 years, isn't it, Tom?
It's a 1-year warranty for that. MnDOT's paying to install the trees. The city's going to maintain them. Same thing as sidewalk and everything else.
2 years.
Same thing as
2 years, wasn't it?
Same thing as planters and bike racks, everything else. So
Wasn't it a 2-year contract?
normally it's a 2-year with a big contract, but a small contract will be a 1-year warranty.
This is a small contract?
We're doing the separate tree planting project in the spring. It'll probably be a 1-year warranty. So.
Tom,
Yep.
clarification on MnDOT pays for the grates, correct?
Yes.
Are the grates ordered at this time?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yep. Good question.
Thank you.
Zena Stussy, property owner. I was on the beautification committee as well. It's lovely to see you all again tonight.
I just wanted to say I had a business downtown for 2 years. I don't currently have a business downtown, but I am a property owner right in the city, and just 2 blocks off of downtown. And I just think that the people who live in the town also have an equal say in how beautiful the downtown is where they live. So I appreciate that the property owners of the buildings downtown have concerns, but I don't think they're the only concerns. I think the people that live and pay taxes here also have a say, and I think they, really wanted to have trees. So I want to live in a beautiful city. And I think Pelican Rapids has been through a lot of rough times, and I don't think it's very attractive right now. And so I was really looking forward to it being beautiful and having the Christmas lights. And I want to live in a pretty place. And we've done so many things with the river. It's very lovely. So I just wanted to say thank you for your consideration. And as someone who lives in town, and I also have a business in my home in town, I'd like to see the trees. So, thank you.
Thanks, Leah. Okay, anyone else want to give a comment before we go on round 2 here? Because after round 2, we're going to bring it back to the table.
Jordan with EDA, but not an EDA recommendation because we didn't talk about it at EDA. I'm just here to talk about the survey online. The survey was one question because at your last council meeting, that's what you wanted to hear from the community. Do you want trees downtown or not? It didn't seem like there was room for discussion as to what kind of tree or where they should be placed because you have a parks board who's worked with a beautification committee who's already recommending this to you as an advisory board to you as city council. So that's where that came from. Additionally, it was open to everybody because Councilmember Marcraft said he wants to hear the entire community's response. He wants to hear from everybody, not just business owners who are the majority of the people here. So I can't verify, but I recognize the majority of names and email addresses that were provided on surveys. I can say that we had some duplicates from business owners. So everybody's was accepted, whether it be 2 from one person or from somebody who I didn't realize. So that's the most transparent survey response you probably could get. Just wanted to make sure everybody understood that. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else like to give their first comment? Anyone else?
Shad Hansen, I guess, property owner in town. I guess my only concern is budget-wise. You said 1 year that you'll cover everything?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay, budget-wise in the future, who's paying for the trees? Where's it coming from? Maintenance on these? Okay. Is the street department adequate staff to cover and maintain all of this?
That's yet to be seen.
Okay. Just something to look at, I guess, is everything here. So, I guess my other concern is tree roots do grow. I don't care if they're straight down or out. It's 100% compaction underneath the street and sidewalk. Something's got to give. And I'm just concerned on paying for the sidewalk again. So, I don't know if there's enough room underneath these grates. Can it push up? Is that covered in that, or?
Push up.
Tree roots grow, right? I mean, something's got to expand. It's kind of like ice and water. I mean, ice grows, it's got to push somewhere. It's the same with the tree root in the soil. Does it grow out, down, up? What gives?
I think the tree will grow up mostly. The root
Okay.
shouldn't be growing up too much.
Okay.
One thing MnDOT does, we do tree root cutting on projects.
Sure.
We can cut along the sidewalk edge and cut the root off. Something we've done a lot as well.
How long does MnDOT cover the sidewalk?
Forever.
Forever?
MnDOT owns the sidewalk.
Okay.
It's on MnDOT right away. The city will maintain it, but it's still owned by MnDOT.
Okay. What's covered in the maintaining and replacement cost of it?
Anything that's cracked or broken or heaved, down the road, the city would be responsible for maintaining it until our next project, and we'll.
Okay, so it'd come out of a city budget then?
Which is no different than what we've had.
Correct.
Yep.
This stuff is 6-inch concrete, so it's tends to be a lot better than the current 4 inches.
Sure. Okay, that's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Chad. Anyone else? Anyone else?
Is there anybody on Zoom? Is there anybody on?
Is there anybody on Zoom, Lance?
There's a few people, but they can unmute if they have a comment.
Okay, Pat, you have a rebuttal?
I do. Not necessarily a rebuttal, but you know I'm not one to shy away from giving my opinion. I keep hearing trees or no trees, and yet I'm not hearing any other options. There is other options we can look at. You can look at nice, beautiful planters with bush, and you can decorate the lights, and it'll be beautiful down there. You don't have to plant trees. It's not all or nothing. You know, there's different options, and I just think for the downtown area, different options should be looked at instead of those trees. So, anyway, that's all I got.
Thank you. Anyone else before I bring it up to the table here? Anyone else? Anyone else? Last call. Okay, we'll bring it up to the council. Council?
Well, I guess I always heard that the true compromise is where everybody's equally unsatisfied with the outcome. I make a motion that we not have trees between the roundabouts, but that we follow the beautification committee's recommendations for the area north of the north roundabout, south of the south roundabout, and along the 108 portions of the project.
Could you repeat that again?
I make a motion that we
The
not-
area?
that we not have trees between the roundabouts in the downtown area, but we follow the recommendation of the beautification committee for the areas north of the north roundabout, south of the south roundabout, and along the 108 portions of the project, including Mill Street by the library.
I'll second.
Lance, how many trees does that include?
Well, tree grates, it would be 15 in the tree grates, but then you're including all the plantings outside which don't need tree grates like we had before, just in the grass boulevard. But it would be 15 tree grates in this, so there would be 7 north of the north roundabout, and 8 south of the south roundabout, when you're talking tree grates. If that's what your question was.
Discussion, council?
So, wait, there's gonna be grates north of the north roundabout?
Just for that first block, correct. There's 7 proposed trees in that block. Ah. Right here.
Go back a second here, because some of that's residential, so.
Not on this, it's just this first block, so just up to the liquor store, and that's it.
Okay.
So you got the liquor store, Escobar's.
Okay.
It's on the corner, and then Riverfront on Main.
Go back to the south one, please. Well, this is a compromise to what the beautification committee presented. Any more discussion?
Well, I think one of the points that was brought out earlier that if we don't take this opportunity, we're never going to get it again.
Never.
Trees are removable.
Yep.
They're removable.
If it doesn't work out in a couple of years, they can be taken out.
At our expense. Why can't we plant a tree at our expense?
There will be no place to plant it. There will
We
be
cut
no
out a
grate.
piece of sidewalk, just like you fill in a piece of sidewalk with a grate. It's our expense regardless.
No. MnDOT will pay for the grate at
And
their
if-
expense.
And then we take it out and fill it in at our expense, if it doesn't work
Correct.
for a year, after a year.
But these won't be planted till the end of 2025, so.
Well, it's an opportunity we've got now. It's not, if we pass it up, it's gone.
I don't believe that.
You've got a board that we appointed to give us a recommendation, and I think we ought to follow it.
We are, for a portion of it.
Just a portion of it, not the whole thing.
Any more discussion?
You still taking comments? Since you made a different motion?
We're in a motion. We're in a motion.
It's the same problems everywhere, so if the business.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. Any more discussion?
I call for a roll call vote to avoid confusion.
Could you read the motion, please?
Yes. The motion was no trees between the roundabouts, but follow the beautification committee's recommendations for trees north of the north roundabout and south of the south roundabout and along Highway 108. We had a motion and a second.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
clear. And then roll call, Strand,
Aye.
Ballard,
Aye.
Markgraf,
Nay.
Foster,
Nay.
Frazier.
No. Motion failed. So we will follow the beautification committee's recommendation.
Well, we have to make a motion on that.
Huh?
Automatically, without making a motion,
What's the motion?
that we follow the beautification committees.
Well, I'll make that motion that we follow the committee's plan.
I'll second.
Motion second, discussion? Discussion? Roll call vote, Danielle?
Strand,
Nay.
Ballard,
Nay?
Markgraf,
Aye.
Foster,
Aye.
Frazier.
Aye. Motion passes.
Shame.
Okay, thank you all that came out this evening. Appreciate your comments. Then Lance, conduit portion.
So you'd have the option north of the bridge now to, when they're doing that work, to put in conduit with electrical lighting. Doesn't necessarily have to be approve tonight or anything, but,
Kicked it around long enough. I move that we go ahead with that conduit. If we're in, we're all in.
I'll second that.
Motion second, discussion, discussion,
We
discussion.
should have wire and outlets.
Say again?
Outlets and wire?
That's all included in it.
well, this
This is just getting the conduit in.
is just to approve the conduit going in with the street light conduit, so when that comes to that time, they can plow it in at the same time. I'll, now that we know what's going on there, we can get the plans out to a couple of electricians and get a solid number on how much that would cost to put the wire and the outlets in, but that's,
I thought we had a
That's out there.
solid number.
well, that was, we got a number about 15,000, but that was including south of the bridge and other things, so this will be a little bit different number, hopefully a little less than that, so.
I would wire it now.
Well, yeah, they're just doing conduit now.
Okay, any more discussion?
Is that part of our motion? I mean, if we approve to put the wire in?
You'd have to ask Kevin.
Well, that's not what we're worried about right now, right?
No, no.
No.
Just
They're
the
not,
conduit.
they're
They can
not
do the
going
wire.
to
They
wire
can do
right
the
now.
wire later.
I would purchase it now, though. I mean.
Maybe not a bad idea.
Oh, jeez.
We have a motion and a second to install the conduit at this time. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Anything else on that, Lance?
No, that'll do for now.
Okay, thank you. Item number 7, Street and Parks Report. We have Superintendent Olson with us.
I won't take nearly as long as the tree discussion, I promise. Last month, it seems like it's been a long time since I was here, but it wasn't that long. We had hydrant flushing last month. Everything went very good, and it should really start getting better now when they're moving with PVC pipe down to the south and getting that old cast iron out, which that street project, of course, everybody knows they got the roundabout open now, so that was big news yesterday. A little bit of cluster with traffic yesterday morning in the process of opening and doing detours, but they do have the water and sewer all the way up to 4th Avenue now, and the services are in. They have some tests they have to run on the water quality to make sure that passes before they can put everybody live again. So, and then they did all the removals today on stage 1B. So they'll be bringing the water and sewer from 4th out to 5th, and then they'll hopefully get that all wrapped up. So, parks end of it, we got the campground open. Been taking reservations. The office staff seems to have people there all the time, so that's been good. We did get the water and sewer hooked up right after the last council meeting to the bathhouse, so we got all PVC and plastic water line going in there now, so that's a bonus. Pool project is moving along. They've kind of moved the target date off a little bit, so I'm not even going to really talk about when that potentially could be now, so we'll just play it by ear and see when it happens. So, but that's really all I have, if anybody has any questions.
Two, do you know of any issues they've had with any breakage of the portable, or not the portables, the temporary? Like the yellow PVC that's going across intersections, have any of those been broken or anything?
They had one that was broke by the old fire hall at one time, but they usually are pretty.
I've been surprised, we've been driving over them with our trucks.
Yeah, they put quite a bit of gravel over them, but yeah, that's, once they get this, the water main back online, they can go everybody, and that'll all disappear, so, a lot of it will, I should say, not up to from 4th to 5th, but everything in the downtown area there will disappear, so.
Brian, how many lifeguard applicants do you have out at this point?
5.
Just 5, same as last time?
I think we're gonna talk about that at the next meeting.
Okay.
Come up with a plan with Lance
Another
Moore.
question,
Yep.
so now that the river has kind of stabilized a little bit. Like the new area that's been added to, is it Peterson Park by the campground area? Sharon?
Yep.
Do you have any plans of like mowing that and kind of tempering it? Or
Gonna try. There's a lot of rock out there, so I've been kind of hesitant. I know it looks terrible and we need to do something, but my long-term plan would be to add campsites down there really, and that potentially next year when they go 108 east, they'll have plenty of fill, so I may have them add some down there. But in the interim, I'll try to get it.
Do you think we need to add like a road, service road through there or not?
Eventually we will, yeah. Yep. Which maybe put another bridge up too, across the.
Did, like DNR say like you had to wait for, didn't, something is kind of
Yeah,
ringing around.
we obviously want to wait until we know it's dry and firm down there, because when it first went down, it was pretty soft and.
Still is soft.
Yeah, right, yeah. I mean, if you were walking out there, I think it's still a couple areas, but.
Any other questions for Brian?
One more. Brian, does the inside of the bathhouse look like it did last summer? I didn't even dare go in there, but.
Yeah.
Same?
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
I'm well aware.
So.
Remember when we took it off of the pool? Yeah, it is. It's in horrible shape, and we had a few years ago put a sealer on the rock to try to, but yeah, it's washed 3 times a week. So.
Okay, is there a motion to approve Street and Parks report?
So moved.
Second. Motion second, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion
Perfect,
carried.
thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Item number 8, resolution number 2024-09, approving utility, water, and sewer rates annual increases, and there was a resolution in your packet. Danielle, were you going to speak to that?
I'll help Lance speak to it, sure.
Well, this is a requirement of our PFA funding. So what we're getting for the water and sewer main replacement for the 108-59 project, PFA, we submitted all the information and things, and when they run the numbers and put it out there for that 30 years, we need to have at least a 5% increase in our utility rates to cover that debt service for that long. So we need to have a resolution in place stating that that's what our plan is. So it's a requirement to get this loan closed for the financing of this water and sewer main replacement.
Move to adopt resolution 2024-09.
Second.
Motion second, discussion.
This won't affect, this is just a resolution in place, so, I mean, we've maintained all the balances that we've required to, the reserves that we're required to. So.
This is something the PFA wants in place to ensure that we'll be able to cover that debt service for the 30-year loan.
Okay.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Item number 9, Pelican Rapids Aquatic Center pay request number 11, Hammers Construction for $478,793.23. And that document was in your packet, Lance?
Yeah, so Scott from Design Intent went through all the pay requests, and he's recommending we pay this to Hammers Construction for the work completed in this phase, or this construction season.
Move to pay pay request number 11 for Hammers Construction, $478,793.23.
Second?
Second.
Motion second, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, motion carried. Item number 10, library report, that's just an FYI that was in your packet. Councilman Ballard, do you have anything to say to that?
Nope.
Okay. Looking for a motion to approve unless someone has, oh, excuse me, looking for a motion. Any other comments?
So moved.
Second. Okay, item number 11, administrator report. Lance?
Since the last council meeting, worked on the agenda, prepped for the city council meeting, attended a department head meeting, attended pool construction update meetings, attended the 59 108 construction meetings and open houses, worked on an agreement with our significant industrial user in regards to the Highway 59 108 construction and the PFA funding. Worked with City Attorney Forsgren on the Park Region temporary access expenses request, attended an Otter Tail County Housing convening meeting. Danielle and I met with a representative from G-Works, which is a utility billing accounting software company. Attended a library board meeting, talked with McGuire Iron about the water tower wash, attended an Otter Tail County Transportation Plan meeting in Fergus Falls, met with the ordinance committee, and we started going through chapter 9, and attended a housing study steering committee meeting. Any questions?
Any questions for Lance?
Who's on the
County.
Who's on the housing study?
Oh, that was just last night. It was Mayor Fraser, Danielle, and I, and Ryan Bynick is on there from the EDA. Jordan was there, of course. Brian Korf was there last night. Am I missing anybody?
Did you say Ryan?
Yep.
Brian Court.
There was a couple others at the first meeting that weren't there last night.
Oh.
Catch them all?
Yep, those are the people who showed up, so that's our group.
Any other questions for Lance?
When you talked to the Otter Tail County Housing, what was the discussion, or was anything decided, or?
Oh, nothing decided. It's just kind of a quarterly meeting that's an update on things that they're doing, and I guess the Pinewood Estates was one thing they updated everybody on. They're the housing development here in town. And it's a quarterly thing where they get together and talk about updates and things that they're doing in the county, so nothing really gets.
Are they gonna meet their goal?
I think they're might end up fall a little bit short, but, because it's, in 2025 was their goal, right?
Correct.
And I'm not sure what they're at right now.
How short are they, you know?
I want to say they're just over 50% of their goal right now, aren't they?
That's all?
Latest update? Something like that.
Well, we can all hope for more infrastructure funding in greater Minnesota, so that'll help them.
Any other questions for Lance? Okay, thank you. Item number 12, Mayor Report. A few items in the last month. Attended complete street staff meetings on May 29th and also June 5th. Also conducted a streets public meeting at the library on May 29th and June 5th. Gave a welcome at the West Central Initiative Blandin Foundation for tomorrow's generosity. That was held at Thumper Pond on May 29th. Conversations with the mayor just at the library on May 30th. Attended a Pinewood Estates open house at the library on May 30th. Also, Zoom meeting with WDAY on 7th of June, 10th of June, yesterday, agenda meeting with Administrator Roysum, and also the housing meeting last night with CEDAR representatives and the Housing Committee. Any questions?
Thank you.
Seeing no other business, there is a motion to adjourn.
Yes.
Second? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same? Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Jordan. I noticed you brought up that